Is it gaslighting if you truly believe it?
One for each pair of chromosomes.
Fire Emblem time.
I want to be lubed
Bottle
up.
that up. I stole those PNG.
You're not supposed to tell them. Subscribe, follow, leave a like, write a comment, give us your social security number, all the good things.
Welcome to Leave Your Brain at the Door podcast. This episode featuring me hosting once again and my lovely co-hosts, John and
Hi,
Gretchen.
I'm John.
If you don't know them by now, I don't know what to tell you. Or you're starting on this episode, in which case,
We're glad.
why? But anywho, today I'll be hosting, and the topic I've prepared for us today is going to be a sort of debate, but not really. It's I like to call it "I'll die on this hill," and the concept is to take a opinion and defend it as if you very strongly believed in it. And I have picked a variety of topics, some of which are more controversial than others, but both sides of which I believe could be argued to some degree at the very least. So I don't know how this is going to go in terms of, do you guys want to flip the coin and just pick a side, or do you guys going to fight over which side you pick on these topics?
You choose. You want me to grab the coin?
I've got a coin.
He's got a coin.
I've got electronic coin,
He has an electronic coin.
otherwise known as Google. Alright, so let's see. Also, if you guys just have a strong opinion and you have differing opinions and you know you do, we don't need the coin. I want you to be able to argue the side that you really believe in, because that's way more fun.
Okay.
If you have to argue a side you don't believe in, like, I don't know, it's just not as fun. So, I've got a whole list. Let's see, we've got 23 options. We're going to generate a random number. Which topic are we doing? 14. That is, in general, people complain too much, too little. Do either of you...
Go ahead, flip.
Alright, flip. Alright, so who's heads, who's tails?
I'll be heads.
Alright, John's heads. And the side will be saying, since I originally phrased it as people complain too much, you will be arguing for they complain too much if it lands on your side. And we've got tails. Gretchen, you will be arguing for people complain too much. John, you'll be arguing for people don't complain enough.
Complain enough.
What if I'd rather argue for the other
it's too
side?
late. It's been decided.
Well, if John would also rather argue for the other side, you may swap.
No.
But
I'm
since
locked
John
in.
said, okay, John is locked in, you are forced into this, too bad.
Because I complain too much.
Yeah, so perfect. You
So
have
argue
personal
for it. Wait,
experience.
that means you believe in it.
You think people
So-
complain too much. That's your side.
No, I think people don't complain enough.
You think people don't complain enough.
To normalize me, people don't complain enough.
What you're saying is you need people to complain as much as you complain. So you can feel validated.
Yeah.
Okay.
People need to complain more.
Alright. We can have a thinking period, but like, just prepare yourself.
I
People
think
complain
people
too
complain
much.
Too much.
Yes, that is what you're arguing for. They need to complain less. Trust me, you can totally argue this. This is the side I actually believe in.
Talk first though.
The other person?
Me?
Why?
Yeah,
Oh, because he does agree with if you actually believe in the idea.
I never said I believe in it.
No, I
Okay.
just tried to get more thinking time.
Okay, well, we can just sit here. We can cut out this section.
Yeah. We do have the power of
We
editing.
do have the power of editing. Argumentators. Arguers.
I didn't understand the word you just said.
People who argue.
I was like, are you asking a question?
It's like a commentator, but it's an argumentator.
Yes.
Also, I
Not to be
saw
confused
the
with the
webcam
mashed potato.
out of the corner of my eye, and
Or a
I thought
tater
it was
tot.
one of the little pedestal things that the lights are on, and I was like, why is that one empty?
The candle burned out.
You're right.
Are you ready, arguers?
More or less.
Sure.
Alright. People don't complain enough, and I will die on this hill.
Okay.
Complaining is a very beneficial outlet. First
Okay.
of all, complaining implies that there's something wrong. You've been mistreated, there's a faulty system, so on and so forth.
Okay.
Complaining allows you to bring attention to this wrongdoing and either like fix a system or make someone apologize to you, or, so on and so forth. And so without complaining, the world will be much more stagnant and bad.
Okay.
That's point number one. Point number two, complaining is great. Is a great outlet for like emotional healing. If you're complaining, you've got, you got something inside, which is bad and needs to come out.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you can then use complaining, I believe it's scientifically proven to like help relieve stress. And so you're relieving stress, you're letting people know your feelings, and it's just overall healthy for everyone involved if it's done in a proper way.
Okay.
And those are my points.
Okay. Your rebuttal.
There's a saying, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Okay.
People complain too much.
Okay.
Okay? Just shut up.
Shut up. It's wild. Okay. Do you have some
I
logic
made my
or
point.
points?
That's it.
That's it.
I can explain. I can go on.
Alright.
But I think that's pretty self-explanatory.
Okay, so
All this talk about
You've-
share your feelings. No, that makes you weak.
This is not the method I was expecting for people complaining too much. Oh my God.
Complaining too much makes you weak. It makes you find fault in everything.
Oh my God.
Bottle that up. Screw the lid on
This
tight.
is not see. This is
And
not-
keep it in here, okay? And don't bother anyone else.
Wow. Gretchen has really hit me with the emotional level of invested in the argument. Well, John has laid down the foundational logical things that he believes in. This one might have to get decided later. That was kind of I don't know. You both had your points. It's just kind of how I depend on the criteria. All right.
What can I say? Squeaky wheel gets the attention. How's that phrase go?
The squeaky wheel gets the grease.
Gets the grease. I was thinking. I was rhyming. I was like, squeaky wheel gets the leak. That doesn't make any sense.
No.
What is
Who
this?
cares
Hatsune
about the
Miku?
grease? You don't need the grease.
But I
Just
want-
keep going.
But I want the grease. I want to be lubed up.
Bottle that up. Don't show any weakness, okay?
But I've made some notes about your arguments. We'll move on to the next topic. Random number generator, please tell me, what is our next topic? 23, alright, the last one. This is one I put in slightly after I sent the message. We've got... What's the best MMO class?
Oh. Is this like a free form? We just pick one.
You can just pick one, but like, it's
I'm
better
indecisive.
it's better if you like generalize to like a DPS or something versus tank versus healer. But if you've got a specific one in mind, I mean, this is your dying on the hill. Okay, you choose.
So here's the problem, right? Gretchen's gonna say Bard / healer. I just know she is because that's
Uh-huh.
who she is.
That's
And there's
what she
nothing
plays,
wrong with
typically
that.
speaking.
The thing that came to my mind was specifically the priest from Remnant Knights
Okay,
because that was like my favorite experience.
man, it's a callback. For those of you who don't know, Remnant Knights was a old anime MMO that ceased to exist pretty quickly, actually.
Pretty quickly after we left, after they banned us.
They banned you guys?
We've told you the story.
Yeah, you've told me the story. I just I didn't realize you guys got
Injustice.
banned.
Because Gretchen logged in one day and had $1 billion, not literally.
No, it was my
but-
friend.
Oh yeah,
My
our
friend logged
in.
in one day, had just like infinite money, and didn't know where it came from.
Not like paid currency either, just like the currency you get from like playing the game,
Yeah,
but an obscene amount of it.
just an obscene amount, and was like, I don't know where this came from. I don't know what's going on. He gave me some. He spread out the wealth, And in that game, you could do like you could pick an area and do
You
drops.
can make it rain.
You could literally make
Effectively.
wow, that was making it rain before you making it rain was a
Like-
thing.
Like anyone who was in that specific area would just get like a little bit of money over time up to the amount that you set, and so he would just do that like all the time just to like try and get rid of some of this wealth. And the mods got a hold of this and were like, you have more money than every other player combined.
I think they even said every other player and every other mod combined.
Wow.
And we tried to explain what happened, and they're like, no, you're lying, you did this on purpose.
You have a bad friend. Your friend is lying to you.
And so they banned us.
Actual words that they said.
So they banned us, and then we just made new accounts with a different email address.
Yeah.
All right.
I just dropped it. I was like, okay, fine, whatever. Second Gmail.
You bottled it up.
That's right.
You
I didn't complain to them.
That is our special guest, Steven, who's here. We'll have a little image on the
Over
screen.
here, or over here, or perhaps up here.
Just
there.
I am the
Everywhere.
anywho, I went and looked up some info, and one, I don't ever trust AI overview it immediately. I looked up Remnant Knight's release date, and it said the Remnant Knights Minecraft map was released on May 5th, 2023. The game Remnant 2 was released on July 25th, according to a full cleared article. It doesn't even know what I'm talking about, but thankfully the first link does. MMORPG.com, released in about 2012, and it looks like it went through this January 2014. So July 2012.
Short-running game.
And January 2014 was its runtime effectively, and
Only 2 years?
less,
Less than 2 years.
like 1.5.
It felt like longer than that we were playing.
Well, it was a long time ago. We were kids.
Yeah.
You were
Everything
in
felt like a
middle
long
school.
time.
You were in
Yeah.
high school.
Yeah, I wasn't. Yeah.
But point
Don't tell
being,
them how old I am.
We were in some form of school, and you were in a different form of school.
point being,
Much better, thank you.
it was an old MMORPG that
Yeah.
we played for a while. That was pretty fun. We enjoyed it. I was also 12, so I don't know. Maybe I would play it now and I'd hate it. But
No.
No.
we had fun.
It was
Anyhow.
fun because you could like put your skill points into skills that you wanted, and you
Mhm.
could like choose your skill path.
You mean like Blade and Soul before they reworked the skills?
Yeah,
system?
like Blade and
Yeah,
Soul.
like Blade and
before
Soul.
they ruined it,
Yet another thing that we're
Before
salty
they-
about.
baby-proofed it.
Yeah, it used to be.
It used to be a
I
skill
like the
game
baby proofing.
with skill expression, and now it's like, oh, here you go.
Yeah, one of the big things that, especially for me, is we played Blade and Soul before a whole big revamp on the skill system, and it was actually a very difficult game, and the PvP was interesting. I was never any good at it, but it was you could do some crazy stuff if you were skilled enough.
It was like an MMO version of a fighting game.
Yeah, it was kind of cool, but like the whole skill system was just kind of cool. And then like we came back to it one day because we have times where we play MMOs and then long periods of time where we don't play them, and then we came back to it and it was a completely different game, and we were like, what the hell is this?
Now it's Blade and Soul Neo.
Yeah, now it's even more revamped or whatever. They had to make a whole new.
Blade and Soul
Thing.
normal still exists. You can just also play Blade and Soul Neo.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
They added a gunner
Why?
class, and out of all the like
I
10
don't know.
skills that they give you,
I think it's supposed to be kind of like
I
WoW
just right
Classic,
and left clicked all the
except
time,
it's
'cause
not,
That's all I needed
because
to
it's
do.
still like new Blade and Soul.
Like yeah,
I was gonna
sure.
say because they revamped the old Blade and Soul. They still revamped and never reverted it to
Yeah.
like the classic.
But Blade and Soul Neo doesn't have all the new classes in it.
Wait, so Blade and Soul Neo is the old one.
It's
Why is the Neo one the old one? That's
No,
usually literally
Neo is
meant
the
for
new
new
one.
Okay.
It just doesn't have all the new classes in it.
Okay, in other words, it's the older
The
version.
new
But it's still the
Bladed
newer
Soul
version
is
of the
old
gameplay.
Bladed Soul.
And it's the
I don't
new
know.
story and whatnot.
What?
They just took out some of the new classes for some reason.
Did they take out the gunner class?
I think so. Yeah, I don't know. It's weird, man.
Okay, going back to it, John is on the hill for Priest of
No,
Remnant
no, I'm
Knights.
changing it.
Oh, he's changing. Okay.
Was I right in my assumption? It's Not as something to be ashamed
Gretchen's
of.
looking down at the ground and go, maybe.
You get to go first this time.
I'm indecisive,
Okay.
but I'm definitely partial towards healing classes
Okay.
because I think it's fun.
Make your case.
And but I also like classes that let me do a lot of damage because that's also fun.
Okay. Pick one, make your case. It's that simple.
That's the problem.
I'm gonna flip a coin.
I had a
Wow,
feeling it
flip
was
a coin for you.
No.
No, you're so you're
The-
gonna actually.
I'll say we played Aura Kingdom the most,
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
think
I
that's fair.
definitely sunk the most hours into it.
and my main there was a bard,
Mhm.
so that's the position I'll take. But it's kind of difficult because playing an MMO by yourself as a healing class is torture.
Okay.
I will admit that
Don't
because you don't do damage.
argue for that then. Why are you're giving
I
the
like-
opposition ammo?
But
Okay.
the whole point of an MMO is to play with a party.
It's
Right.
true,
Yeah,
it's
there.
true,
Okay,
it's true.
now we're getting somewhere.
The party does the damage for you, and you keep them alive. That's the transaction that's happening here.
Yeah.
And I just find that entertaining.
Any other points you'd like to make?
I like being helpful,
Okay.
and
Okay. But from
and sometimes, if there's someone that, because there's always someone that likes to run ahead
Mhm.
of the group.
Mhm.
I'm not
There's a
targeting
lot of-
anyone.
Who
There's
could
a
you
lot
be
of-
talking
I'm
about?
not targeting anyone here.
I don't know.
And just sometimes having the power to say, if you do that again, I'm not healing you. It's a little added perk.
Lighted perk. Yeah.
And I think more MMOs should bring the healer classes back. Because what do you mean you're replacing an entire class with potions?
Healers got power crept by potions.
Oh, it's kind of sad.
Oh man.
It's offensive to me.
No, they're replacing the entire class with teamwork and coordination.
I mean,
Yeah, they're taking out the teamwork from the teamwork.
No, they're.
I don't
How
care.
many-
Alright,
How many
I'll save it in my
MMOs?
argument.
I just think
Now,
it's
granted, I
interesting.
haven't played any
I was gonna say.
new MMOs.
none
Are they
of us
still
have
making
played-
MMOs?
Yes, they're still.
Yes, they're still making MMOs, and the most notoriously popular one is Final Fantasy XIV, which none of us have
Yeah.
played.
That's a lie. I've played Final Fantasy.
You did not make
14.
it to Aiden game,
No.
Endgame, which is a thing that everybody is on
You
about.
see, I won like a free 3 months of playing or
Yeah.
something like that.
Well, you can play up to level 60.
And that's all I did. And then
They-
I was like, oh, I have to pay for this.
I have a couple of friends who are very into it, and you can like get an account up to level 60, which will get you up to the end game point for free. It's just past that point. Like the actual end game content is locked behind paying. But yeah, that and WoW are kind of the most notorious MMOs, the most popular ones, and none of us have any significant experience in those. We play anime MMORPGs. Suck it. Anywho.
I was curious to get into WoW until I actually saw the gameplay of it, and I was like, that does not look exciting.
Yeah,
That looks
it's-
like well, I shouldn't say exciting, because I know like raids can get like really tense and
Yeah.
require coordination and timing and all this stuff, and I respect that. But I just watch people play it. I see you sit there, you push a button, bar fills up. Sit there, you push a button, bar fills up.
I think the interesting thing is that we play MMOs for an entirely different reason for a vast majority of the people who get very into MMOs play it for. Most people who play MMOs that get very into them are playing specifically for the endgame content and party raids. We have a history of leveling up to specifically to the endgame point and then not doing anything after the
Okay.
endgame point and swapping
I
to a
did a
new
lot
game.
of the end game stuff in
We-
Aura Kingdom.
Aura Kingdom is the only one where we actually got to endgame stuff.
The reason that happens is because a lot of the people in our group simply don't have the time. Not myself. I have plenty of time. And so they simply stop playing the game because they can't. And then that just falls out of favor, and we find
Yeah.
something new that rekindles it.
Yeah, pretty much.
I would love to do endgame content in certain MMOs, but no one's ever around, so I just end up going off by myself, and that makes it even worse because then I'm ahead of everybody else, and no one wants to play by themselves.
At
to catch
one
up.
point, I
I
was
did-
ahead of everyone.
I did.
At one point, I was playing daily for a long time, and I got ahead.
For Blade and Soul? Or?
No, for Aura Kingdom. There was legitimately at one point I was playing daily, and because I was trying to farm Eidolon fragments because I wanted to collect them all, and I was genuinely ahead. It was not for very long. It was for a very brief moment, and you guys immediately came back, and then oh, there's new stuff. Let me finish it, and immediately rocketed ahead 2 to 3 levels. But at one point in time,
I hit max level.
But you guys typically are ahead of me.
Several times for a long time, and then it was me and my 2 online-only friends that the 3 of us would go and tackle all of the end game dungeons together because no one else was ever online.
Yeah.
It was just the 3 of us.
Yeah.
Me and these 2 individuals I've never met in person, and we would go and tackle all of these things, and it was a great time.
Well, I think that's part of the funny part is we play MMOs like they're just MO RPGs. Multiplayer, we play them in 4-party squads. We don't do the whole make a clan, have 200 members, do a big ass raid with 50 people in it. We don't do that, and that is the most common selling point of MMOs.
Yeah.
But anywho, have you picked a class to die on? All right.
I think the most enjoyable class to play in an MMO is the tank role.
Okay.
There are several specific cases, like in Blade and Soul. If you're the tank, you're up there, you're pressing your defense button, your counter button, you're dodging things, but that's specifically Blade and Soul, so we're going to put that off to the side. But in general, as a tank, you are the skill expression of the party. You are the one who needs to take the damage from everybody else and survive. The DPS, they sit there, they wait for their moment, and then they do a bunch of damage. The healer, they push their healing buttons. You, as a tank, you have to take the damage, you have to survive the damage, and usually you'd have to do a certain amount of damage back in order to keep the aggro. A lot of classes will have, or a lot of games will have modes to increase, or increase the aggression you get, or taunt the enemies or what have you. But sometimes you don't, and you just have to legitimately deal enough damage to keep everything looking at you while your DPS is doing their best to kill it as fast as possible. And so I think the tank is sometimes the hardest role to play, depending on how it's balanced. Sometimes tank is easy, you push your defense button and you sit there. I'll admit it. Sometimes that's the case. But usually it's not, especially in endgame content. Usually if you sit there and you try to tank everything, you will just die in 2 seconds. So you have to balance your own HP, watch your party members, because oftentimes you have to do something reactively to keep them alive in certain situations.
Be nice to your healer.
In combination with the healer. Shut up, it's my turn. And you have to balance your own HP bar. And on top of that, the best part about being the tank is that you get to run ahead all the time, because you won't die.
I feel like there may have been some beef between these two for some reason. I don't know why, but it just seems like
also,
there may have been past
I don't know
instances.
what you're talking about.
In Aura Kingdom, it is a common strategy that you run ahead, gather all the mobs, and then clear them all at once, because it saves a lot of time. Just saying.
Yeah, I know.
And just so people...
For the dungeons that are easier, but for the really difficult ones, it's not really recommended.
Hey, sometimes you gotta limit test. I rest my case.
And so people know I'm not biased. I'm the DPS. Yeah, I'm the idiot. I'm the one mashing the buttons. That's me. I'm the duelist player. I'm the DPS. I'm the guy who likes to hit buttons. And yeah, I'm the one who draws aggro on accident and dies, and then we fail the raid. That's me. All right. So Gretchen, to summarize her argument, it's healing is pretty awesome, and you get to be spiteful with people and say, "Do that again, and I won't heal you." John has said tank is the skill expression most of the time, and it's pretty cool. Skill expression, awesome. Yeah. All right. Taking my notes. All right. No, you're dying on the hill. Oh my God! Stop! I'm about to give a point to John just because you keep seeing it.
That was a sidebar. You were supposed to hear that.
Her hill is not very tall. There are several smaller hills around it.
It is strong and fortified, but it is not very tall.
Her hill is fortified by the other hills that she's considering.
I see. All right.
I have mountains around me and my hill in the center.
But she's still gonna die on it.
Yeah, because it's in a volcano.
You should just heal your way out
But
of
since
it.
I'm a healer, I
Yeah.
can stay alive there.
All right, next topic. Number 16. Ooh.
I want to play Blade and Soul now.
Pick your form of content that you think is best. Long form content, short form content, medium form content. For context, long form would be like podcast, documentary, etc. Medium would be like typical size YouTube video, 8 to 25 minutes or whatever, right? And then short form would be, TikTok, shorts, etc. Or, very short videos that are like less than 5 minutes.
Can I die on the hill if I hate one of them rather than I like one of them?
We can if we have consent, we can turn this into I hate one of them. Sure.
Are you
I
really?
feel like we would.
Yeah, we
be on
probably
the
choose the
same
same
hill.
one. So
Okay.
maybe that's not good.
Well, just go ahead and say it to clarify.
Short form, I would.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a big fan of short form either.
I don't have that passionate of feelings, negative feelings toward any of it, but I prefer medium form.
Yeah, I kind of dabble in all of them.
Medium to long form, like 30 to 45 minutes.
If you want to do
Yeah.
medium, I could do long.
Okay.
As for
Is that what we want to do? We
Yeah.
clearly
Sure.
just don't care for short form, and
Yeah.
I'm not opposed to this.
I don't necessarily hate short form content. It's just it's easier to hate one.
Yeah, no, I get it, and
because I have
Do
to
you
choose
wanna die
one.
on a
It's
hill?
easier to hate than pick between.
Since
the
there's
other two.
3 options
Yeah.
and there's
There are
3
three
of us.
options. Stevie.
I will end all of you.
Steven is oh man. Okay, so we got I was thinking I might have to step in if we didn't. Alright, but now we have our individual positions.
Consensually, of course.
Alright. I dabble in all of them, so I don't have a super strong position except my short form is like VTuber clips, so I don't know if how much of short form that exactly counts for, but alright. Who wants to go first?
I guess I'm going first because you went first last time.
Alright. Your argument is for
Long form.
long form. Alright. Podcast, documentary, etc. Usually, oftentimes, well, actually, I don't know. These days, I was going to say oftentimes high effort, but like, not necessarily the case. Podcast is pretty low effort.
Yeah, I would say it's a lot of long form stuff that I personally watch is pretty low effort.
Well, podcast has kind of risen up in the past couple of years to be like the dominant, but I mean, in the past, previously, it's like long form content was like a serious documentary on an esports scene that was like very well documented and edited.
Or just a stream VOD.
I guess that is long form content, huh?
Or just a stream.
I feel like that's a whole separate form of content.
Yes,
'Cause
but
the
I would
appeal-
argue it counts.
The appeal there is the fact that it's live.
That's
Johnny
true.
has a secondary hill.
John
Attached to
does
his
have a
main
second.
I have co-hills. They also look a little bit like
I was
boobs.
gonna say yes! Yes!
That's not the point.
Anywho, long form content, make your case.
Alright. We've all been there. You have some free time. You want to play some game or something. No one's online. You're by yourself. What do? You turn to long form content. Whether it's a stream, which Alan is saying I can't use, so I'm going to ignore that for the purposes of this argument.
If you want to die on both hills, you can try and argue for both.
Or like a podcast, like a stream VOD, which is, I don't know, I don't really watch those that much, admittedly. Or just like what I've been watching recently, like a Commander game, like Commander show for Magic the Gathering. It's just a nice thing. You can just put it on in the background. You don't have to pay too much attention to it. They're usually pretty low key. It's a nice little like white noise plus to kind of calm the mind while you do whatever you're doing.
White noise plus is the best description of like side activity that I'm not paying attention to I've ever heard.
That should have been our podcast.
White noise plus.
Oh, that would have been so good. Long form content. It's like I said, it's usually low, not always, but it's often low key, nice, relaxed. It's usually still pretty entertaining. Long form content can still be a main activity if you're like eating, for example. Although maybe eating's the main.
Eating's the
activity
main
in that
activity
case.
there. Eating is definitely the main activity.
But there are many of opportunities. You're driving, you're playing a game, you're just sitting there, you don't know what to do. Movies would also be considered long form content. People go to the movies all the time. Movies are okay.
I've never thought of movies as long form content, but you're not necessarily incorrect.
Yeah. And movies are great. Lord of the Rings. I know I just said they're okay, but I'm going back on that now because I remember Lord of the Rings exists. should watch them. It's like 11 hours of movie or something like that.
Can verify, it is amazing though.
Yeah. Also, good to fall asleep to. Long form, if you're watching short or medium form content, maybe you don't fall asleep right away. Then you have to go to the next thing, and then that like wakes you up a little bit more. Long form content, just sleep right away. I rest my case, I think.
All right, long form content. There it is. Able to be done during a lot of stuff, a lot of activities that you would, if you were using medium or short form content, you would have to interrupt yourself from. All right. Is the case for medium content ready?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Let the jury
I
hear.
approach the bench.
Let the jury hear.
Swear nothing but the truth.
As someone, I prefer medium content purely because of my lifestyle. I think as someone with a full-time job, medium form content is the perfect length to listen to during a break. Whether it's like 10-minute break or like lunch break, which is usually 30 minutes for me at least.
I gotta hold it right there. What is this nuanced people with a full-time job? No, it is the best content. This is the hill you are dying on.
Okay, it's the best content.
We are being divisive here. We are ruining nuance.
Because it's more flexible. If I click on a video that's 90 minutes long, that's a lot of minutes. It's intimidating. If I click on a gaming video or a commentary video that's 25 minutes long, that's not as many minutes. And then I can move on to something else of a different topic if I'm feeling a different flavor.
Okay.
And also, I don't take that long to eat. So if I click on a long video, I'm done eating in the first, fraction of it.
All right, I need to interject here.
Oh boy.
We eat dinner together a lot.
Objection.
We sit there for hours after we're done eating, watching content. All right. So that's
And
a
most
bit
of
a
it
moot
is
point.
medium form content.
That's irrelevant.
Your Honor, slander.
Objection, interrupting of my speech. He's interrupting. He's invaded my hill.
I didn't make a case. I didn't set some rules.
I demand order in this courtroom.
I am being very ordered right now.
Justice.
John, please raise a motion to interject before interjecting.
Yes, Your Honor.
Now that we have that interjection out of the way, did you have further to input on medium form content, or are you finished with your case? Our final argument. Steven, make your case. Short form content. Why is it the best?
I have no brain. I can see everything all the time, always. Doesn't matter if it's ASMR, doesn't matter if it's a cute animal video, doesn't matter if it scares me in the middle of the fucking night, doesn't matter if it's a lesson. I get everything always. I get to see all different sorts of people, and then I don't have to think. If it's in the background, I'm not truly enjoying the media. So down with long. Medium.
Just called for down for long form
Okay.
content on a podcast.
Like you said, medium. I only got a 30-minute lunch break. I can barely enjoy one episode? No. I can watch a million videos in 10 minutes and disassociate and melt my brain all at the same time. What is not to enjoy? Then remember the feeling of, I don't have to think of the voices in my head. Period.
The thing that I gathered from that was I get to see a lot of different stuff because it's all short.
Yeah.
That was the main crux, I think, of the argument. Alright, so we got long form, good in background for lots of stuff. Medium form, less intimidating than long form, fits better to certain activities. And short form, don't want to think, get to see lots of stuff.
Brain
All
is
right.
grilled cheese.
I mean, if we're talking about popularity, short form is kind of dominating, question mark? To my knowledge. But in terms of arguments,
You turn into the fat
I am the
for a second
dom.
there.
You are the subs. Submit.
Subscribe.
Objection.
subscribe, like,
Objection.
comment, subscribe.
Objection, Your Honor.
Okay.
Inappropriate
Emotion.
court behavior.
Sustained, I think is the right term. There was no argument being held. It was not considered inappropriate. I don't know.
Period.
All right.
Continue, Your Honor.
Well, I have my consensus. I feel like I'll leave it to the end. That'll be a little
Ooh, suspense.
yeah, suspense. I'll tell you guys each individual point at the end. All right.
Watch till the end of the video. Then you'll know
Yeah,
who
watch
wins.
till the end.
Submit.
Subscribe.
Please.
Subscribe, follow, leave a like, write a comment, give us your social security number, all the good things.
All right.
Quick tangent. We saw an ad the other day
I was telling her about it.
for I think it was a women's Fortnite tournament, and they called it the Milk Cup.
And the website was like not enough milk or something like that.
I see.
As the
Why
town
would
lesbian, do not approve.
Why would they call it that?
Whoever came up with that name should be fired.
Why would
Exiled.
they call it that?
Well, none of us are Fortnite players, so it doesn't affect us. I would play
Unless
Fortnite
you
if any of my
subscribe,
friends.
then we definitely play Fortnite.
Yeah, true. If you want us to play Fortnite,
Subscribe for more Fortnite.
You play Fortnite.
We're not gonna actually play Fortnite.
I would play
We're
Fortnite.
gonna play Fortnite.
I would play Fortnite if my friends ever messaged me. Oh, I always have friends who are like, "Yeah, let's play Fortnite sometime. Yeah, anytime." I'm like, "Oh yeah, just let me know when you guys are on or when you want to play. I'm totally down. I don't actually play, but I'd be down to hang out and play." No one ever messages.
I
No,
played Fortnite
no one ever messages.
once, and then I was like, okay, and then I stopped.
Yeah, I remember on a Christmas vacation having to play on the Switch. Aiming on a controller is awful. I don't know how the controller gods do it, but there's some legends out there that can play FPS games with controller, and I don't know how they do it, but they do it. Anywho, that's that discussion. It's time for me to get the next topic. Next topic, number 6. What do we got for number 6? Number 6 is socks to bed. Yes or no? This is for heads, tails, for wearing socks to bed. Okay. Heads.
I knew it. All right, people, listen up.
Buckle up.
I think I heard somewhere that there was a scientific study that it's better to wear socks to bed. for I don't remember why. So listen to the facts, people. Look, you might not like it. It might not be the most comfortable, but it's good for you because it like keeps you warm or something. I could be completely off base here, but that's what I'm going with. And you don't want your feet out. That's gross. Why would you do that? Why would you just have your feet out? Cover them up. No one wants to see them, except for the people who do. And for that case, you need to charge them first. Wearing your socks to
Hold your
bed
feet.
is good practice for just getting used to wearing socks all the time. Also, it's off of that note, you wear socks in public, right? Why can't you wear them to bed? What's wrong with that?
A strong case for wearing socks to bed. All right.
And you don't want to get your bed dirty. So I don't know. Hold on. So you can switch your sock. So you get a clean pair of socks. You sit down in bed with your feet off it. You take your socks off. You put your fresh socks on. Your bed's not dirty.
Sleeping socks specifically.
Yeah, you get your sleeping socks. You don't want your feet to get like infections or something. Don't wear gross socks. That's bad. Wear nice, clean socks to bed. Protect your feet, protect your bed. Stay healthy. Wear socks
I
to
have
bed.
quickly fact-checked this, and the AI overview, again, I know I said to not trust it, but it says, yes, wearing socks to bed can be beneficial for some individuals, potentially improving sleep by helping to regulate body temperature. Warming
See?
feet before
Some
bed can
individuals.
lower overall core body temperature, signaling to the body that it's time to sleep. I've also heard, though, that
Sleep
you
socks?
want to be, you want to lower your body temperature before going to bed, so I don't
Yeah.
know.
Well, isn't that what that just said? It lowers your body temperature?
How does wearing socks?
It says, oh, it does lower overall core
Because
body
it
temperature.
takes the
That's what it
heat
says.
from the feet and disperses it.
No.
Did-
No. That is not how that... What?
That's what it said on the AI overview.
It said...
Can I argue now?
Look, I don't know.
No.
Trust the AI overlords. It lowers your body temperature somehow.
I have a pertinent question. What kind of socks are the perfect sleep socks?
I don't know. I don't wear socks to bed.
He's already being forced to argue against the position, against his will.
You get
Let it be.
little stripy socks, and then the end is, you know, those like sleep hats that are like really long with the little like poof at the end. The ends of the socks have the little.
Mem, are you arguing for or against socks in bed?
I'm just describing sleep socks. Okay.
Alright. Make your case for the jury.
I believe that feet should be free of socks.
I'm the only one in this room not wearing socks.
Well, we're not
sleeping, are we?
That's a good point.
I think feet should be free of socks at bedtime because that's what a blanket is for. The blanket covers your feet. Or if you get too hot, you stick your feet out of the blanket. You have no socks on, so your feet are open to the air and you can cool off that way. And also, socks, if it's warm and your feet start sweating and you're wearing socks, the sweat just stays in there.
Or you just go,
If you're not wearing socks, your feet are airing out. And they have freedom. And,
What are you putting on? Sorry.
motion.
What are you putting on airs? That's all I had to say.
A fantastic motion. You may resume. Was there anything to be resumed?
You're airing out your feet.
Also, it's just more comfortable to not wear socks in bed, and you know, when you take a shower, if you take a shower at night, oh my goodness.
What is the motion for?
That's a subjective opinion that it's more comfortable to not wear socks. That's all I have to say.
I didn't mean to turn it into an actual courtroom, but...
Continue.
You may resume.
I'm done.
This is more fun than just interrupting. We get to double interrupt you.
Oh, we have off camera. Steven!
Your Honor, I have an important question.
Yes.
If sleep, will you maintain both socks in sleep? Or will you lose socks in sleep?
What do you mean?
Like, do they get kicked off? How
I've
do you
definitely
maintain
done that
true
before.
pairing? The OTP of
How do you
socks?
take off socks in your sleep?
Same way you take
But
off
while you're
clothes in your
asleep?
sleep. Yeah.
I mean, like,
Man, I
I'll
got
wake up in the
really
night and I'll be like, oh, I'm too warm, I need to take off some clothes. I don't take them off in my sleep.
Your Honor, you're weird.
Your Honor, that's normal. It's called sleeping. You go comatose.
Your Honor. Don't say Your Honor. Your Honor.
No, it's too fun to say Your Honor.
No,
Denied.
say my honor.
Sure, I'll say my honor. That works. That works.
Just
for
for that,
honor.
Your Honor.
As someone
Like,
who
sure.
has taken off her PJs in her sleep because it was too hot, it's not that much of a stretch to take off your socks when you're sleeping.
Well, I would argue the PJs are the stretch, so that's why they're easy to take off.
All right. So we have socks good for sleep. We have
No
Socks
socks
bad.
good. Good for sleep.
No, you didn't even say that in your argument. You just said, nah, it
I
sucks.
said they keep you
Keep 'em
cooler
air
so you
out.
sleep better.
Did you actually say so you sleep better? I only ever
Yeah.
heard like,
It was
oh yeah,
implied.
gotta keep them aired
It
out
was
and stuff.
implied.
Alright.
Actually, that directly contradicts what the AI already said.
The AI overview did specifically say the AI overview did specifically say for some individuals, so it was not pertaining to overall population.
Some individuals is very open, and I'm going to interpret that to mean everybody except for Gretchen.
Objection.
Or me, because I also don't wear
I'm
socks.
feeling targeted by the defense.
That's
Yeah,
Why
I'm
the defense or
targeting
you
you.
the defense?
Gretchen, denied.
I'm feeling personally attacked.
Denied. That is the point of this.
Which?
Yeah!
I also don't believe the AI overview should be allowed to be used
Look,
in
the
court.
AI overview is the court expert for this trial.
AI overlord.
This is also, to my best knowledge, it's there is no like definitive thing. It helps some people. It doesn't help other people. And I've weirdly enough learned some random facts about this from medical channels. There's no like common consensus that like for most people it is this. It is something that is just person to person. Point being, I'm gonna have to choose a victor. Screw it. This is my favorite one. The blank, and I listed some options here, is the most important part of anime or media. The possible ones, but if you have your own, feel free to insert it. Sound design, visuals, dialogue, characters, or story were the ones that I immediately came to mind. But if you have a different option that you think is the most important aspect of it,
I like characters.
you both wanted characters. All right, might have to do something different then.
I could go for music.
Is that
I
music
also
slash
like
sound design?
music.
Oh my god. Okay. You know what? Since you guys can't decide, best friend swap game. Which one's the best?
What?
Best friend swap game. Phasmo, Lethal Company, that type of game, where the content of the game is not as important as the fact that you're screwing around with friends. It's friend swap.
I like Lethal Company.
Expound.
Expound. Do you have a different option?
Yes.
Okay, good. All right. We got something.
I feel like overall, I have consistently the most fun playing Lethal Company. I don't play too many of them. Phasmo, or Warren. Lethal Company? Am I forgetting any?
Funnily enough, Among Us technically fits in this category. I would argue that, like, Among Us is not, the most thrilling game in by itself, but it's the fact that you're screwing around
It
with friends.
depends on who you're playing with and how you're playing it. Because there's,
True.
like, competitive Among Us. There have been Among Us tournaments. And there's, like, serious try-hard Among Us.
I've never played Among Us.
Interesting.
More
Alright.
among, like, content creators.
Yeah, okay. Do you have anything further to say other than Lethal Company? Because I feel like I have the most fun. Not exactly the most compelling argument you've got there.
I don't know.
You're testifying before a jury of people.
It's fun. It's exploring. It's sometimes scary. Dying is always funny in that game. You have all of them have a goal that you're working towards. But I feel like Lethal Company, you feel it more than the other two that I play, like Phasmo and Forewarned.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, in those ones, they all have the item upgrades, I guess, but I don't know. I laugh a lot when I play Lethal Company.
That's an argument if there is one, That,
And I'm bad at it, so that makes it more fun. I die a lot, and sometimes it glitches. Any game does that, but I don't know.
you had some points in there that could be solid, but you also were like, I don't know, maybe half of the time. So
That's just how I am.
I know that you don't
Sometimes.
feel that way on. Yeah, I was gonna say sometimes you are not that way. I know that
You're
for
just
certain.
not asking me the right questions.
All right, Your Honor.
All right.
Let's move away from this slop.
Okay. We're just moving to other slop. It's not.
Yeah. Well, because friend slop was fun.
Yeah. Oh.
Your Honor, Lethal Company is outdated.
Don't touch me.
We're moving to the future. The future is Repo.
Okay.
Repo is a lot like Lethal Company, but it fixes most of Lethal Company's mistakes.
Okay.
First of all, it's a lot easier to not get lost. You literally have a little map. Because a lot of the thing about Lethal Company is, because of how maze-like it is, you're often discouraged from like fully appreciating each level.
Okay.
Repo doesn't have that issue. You have a little map, it points you to the objective as long as you know what the objective is.
Mm-hmm.
Second of all, Repo, there's a lot less downtime. You go in, you are in the level. The level has begun. There's no running back and forth from the ship, none of that. You're right there. Third of all, the controls are a little jank. Purposefully.
Whoa.
You don't like, your little guy, he doesn't actually hold things. He's got a little gravity beam, which holds the thing.
Uh-huh.
And so whatever thing you're holding is affected by gravity. So there's like a barrier of jank in between. So you can never precisely do anything.
Mhm.
And that makes it really funny.
Mm.
Third of all, you can hit people. And when you hit people, they just kind of ragdoll around and become this little guy who's really funny.
Uh-huh.
And then you can pick them up too. You can pick up your friends. And then you can dunk them in the toilet and flush the toilet with them in it. It's fantastic.
Just made a solid argument. What can I say?
Yeah, the gameplay is you take the object, you try not to damage it, which can lead to some more funny shenanigans.
I have seen a clip of that.
And there's a bunch of monsters, of course. But you can actually fight the monsters. In Lethal Company, okay, you can get the shovel. But like, what if that's
Or
boring?
the shotgun.
Or the
stop
shotgun.
sign.
Or the stop sign. But in Repo, there's also a shotgun.
Okay.
But you can fight the monsters. You don't even need weapons if you're strong enough. You can literally just pick up the monster and smack it on the ground.
Okay.
That's pretty fun. Yeah. The little dudes are fantastic. You're just
Okay.
like a little tin can with a semicircle head with big googly eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And whenever you use the voice chat, the little head flaps like you're talking through it. And that's hilarious. The eyes will automatically lock onto whatever the closest thing is and follow it. So if you're holding an object and doing this, the person's eyes are tracking it. And even their like neck and head moves a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Hilarious. There's an item that's a love potion. And whenever you hold it, your character starts speaking with the text-to-speech saying, I really like, and it'll say a person's screen name. And if there's no one nearby, it just talks about the love potion.
Well.
But there was one time it was just like, because I was playing with Jacob, his screen name is Just Ralph. It was like, Just Ralph is so yes. Or something like that. Hilarious.
Alright.
You can type in chat, and when it does that, it does the text-to-speech, and everybody knows text-to-speech is just hilarious.
Text-to-speech do be pretty funny.
You can buy weapons and stuff. There's so many times where I bought a grenade, didn't actually throw it when I threw it, and it just landed in the cart of stuff and destroyed all of our objects. This happens twice in either the same level or two back-to-back levels. Because you have to throw it through physics. You don't just like push a button and it throws it.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I think I've made my points. There's way more items to buy than in Lethal Company that you can use as tools. There's like anti-gravity, there's indestructible stuff, there's like baseball bats, there's this little rubber duck that just flies around and smacks things. And it's supposed to kill enemies, but it's so chaotic that one time it killed all of us instead. Not by actually dealing damage, but by knocking us into a pit.
I see. Alright.
Yeah, I rest my case.
Alright. Do you have a rebuttal?
Can I
Yeah.
choose another game?
Okay. Lost faith in Lethal Company entirely.
No, I thought of a better one. I don't know
Okay.
if you'll count it though.
Alright.
My favorite friend slop game is I'm on observation duty.
I will allow it. I'll allow
Because
it.
I only play that game with my friends. Because there is nothing better than hearing your entire friend group be reduced to gaslighting each other and questioning reality at 2 a.m. Every time we flip through a camera feed and you hear, was that can of beans always there? And someone goes, yeah, it was. Or someone goes, no, I don't think it was. Okay, let me check it anyways. It was there. Never gets old. And you're using your brain.
Debatably.
You're using your brain until it runs out.
Mm.
You're exercising your memory skills until you end up making them worse. And you're honing your gaslighting skills.
A truly important skill in today's era.
And there are plenty of jump scares to keep you on your toes.
Relevant. What's the relevant objective?
Is it gaslighting if you truly believe it?
That's a good question.
I don't have an answer for you.
I think we all know what you're referring to.
The word gaslighting.
Oh.
Yeah, like.
No, I was thinking of when we convinced Nora that there was a building there.
I was thinking of that.
I mean, no, it's not gaslighting. It's just being wrong at that point.
The internet.
The
also
gaslight
says no.
implies like an intention to like deceive.
If I'm not a girl boss, I'm not gaslighting.
All right, so
I'm on observation duty. Is the best
I'm on
friend
observation duty. New argument. Well, you know, it was gonna be a slam dunk for Repo, but that was a much more convincing argument than you had for Lethal Company. This is gonna be more
I
difficult.
thought about it.
I think she should lose points for switching.
We'll consider it. We'll consider the motion.
Never said I couldn't have more than one hill.
I mean,
True, but he never said you wouldn't lose points for having more than one hill.
That's true.
well, so the thing is that I didn't explicitly say you couldn't have more than one hill, but the whole point is that they're like directly opposing. The question was, what is the best front slop game? And you know.
This hill, not these hills.
Yeah. So
Not these hills.
Oh my god.
today we have had 5 different topics. Thankfully, an odd number. And now I have to actually decide who won. For the first one, that was topic number 14. In general, people complain too much.
So moving.
It was an interesting one. Gretchen provided a strong emotional argument,
Yes.
while John provided a fairly logical one. I feel, I don't know if this is the right word, but remiss if I chose logic over the emotional and leave your brain at the door, even though that was kind of the point. But like with it being as close as it is, I feel like I have to lean emotional there. So Gretchen will win the first point.
Fair enough.
Just shut up. It's that easy.
You don't need to.
And with the second, the best MMO class, I will say, Gretchen did have a solid thing that I was going to choose her for because of the whole being able to hold it over your teammates of don't do it again or else I won't heal you. Very tempting for me to choose that. Actually, you know what? That one feels like it'd be a good last one, maybe. Well, I didn't decide each of these. I have to decide as I'm going through. I'm just checking. I feel like I'm legally obligated to choose long form because we're literally a podcast. I don't know what to say. Long form wins. John wins that point. So
Wins
it's
by
1-1.
default.
That feels like a biased question.
Slander.
Yeah, well, you chose medium form, so
Slander.
you
I
could've
didn't
chosen-
realize the judge was gonna be so biased.
When is the judge ever not biased?
You're right. This isn't a real
Alan only
order.
has an opinion when it inconveniences you.
I have an opinion all the time. It's just who it inconveniences. Inevitably, someone will be. Socks on, socks off.
Socks Sounds like a name.
Sounds like
Socks on these nuts.
Socks.
I'm gonna lose the argument now.
I was like, I was.
Worth it.
Socks off wins. I can't.
I'm just imagining putting a sock on your nuts.
Why would you imagine?
Because I said socks on these nuts. I think it's pretty 1-1 why I would imagine that.
All right, Gretchen's in the lead, 2-1. Observation duty or repo. John wins that because A, multiple hills, B, repo does seem really funny. I haven't gotten to play it yet, but it does seem really funny. Observation
I have
duty.
laughed so hard every single time I played repo.
I've seen a lot of funny clips.
Even if it's just me and Jacob playing, because that's happened a few times.
Mhm.
Hilarious.
All right, well, last but not least, 23, best MMO class. It's only fitting that we end on this. Nah, it's too funny to not be able to heal your allies because they did something. I feel like John made the better argument, but the whole I don't do it again or else was really convincing.
Fair. Story of
And
my
with that-
life. Make the better argument, lose the
So with that, Gretchen will win with a narrow score of 3-2. I'm sorry, Steven, you did not win the short form content. We're all short form content haters for the most part.
Wow.
I'm
I
not
don't
a
hate
hater.
I'm a hater.
Wow.
I'm always a
Objection!
hater. Yeah.
The judge is putting words in my mouth.
I mean, I
Impeached.
dislike the general concept of short form consent. Short form
Short-
content. Leading to brain rot. But I don't know if that's true. But it probably is.
It is.
And B, I still consume short form content. Why do I keep saying consent? On occasion.
Content.
In fairness, I did not say which one was the worst. I said which one's the best. You can like all of them and then still think one is the best. So.
I'm
Anyhow,
just going against you saying we hate it. 'Cause
Yeah,
that's
you
not
said
true.
we're haters.
I'm a hater. I'm a hater.
And we're not.
Well, I'm
Your
trying to be
panel is
divisive.
not.
I'm trying to make content here,
Mama,
okay?
Papa.
Wow. All right. With
You're
that,
no longer
Gretchen will be
Papa.
hosting next time. Do you have a winner speech?
Just shut up.